Boy Jay Steady.
It's your girl Toya.
And we back with
part 2 of Are You Ready to Live Off Grid?
Right.
Alright, so in our last video we ended off on city life, right? So do you want to go ahead and talk about it? Wait, I got a question first. Are you gonna just add that the last part of the city life that we already talked about?
Yeah.
Do you have that?
Or we can just talk about it if you want to. You want to finish talking about it?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So, city life versus the country life. To me, anyway, the city life is very busy. It's very fast paced. It's very cluttered. There's a lot of drama. Versus the country life, it's a lot slower. It's a lot calmer. You can actually hear. You hear, nature rather than you hearing people arguing or horns honking or just traffic and all that other, boggly stuff. What else? See, I don't.
Yeah, it's peaceful out here. It's peaceful out here. One thing is out here gonna heal you.
It will. It definitely will. And I would say, if you are not ready to heal, don't come out here. Don't be out in nature 24/7, because being out in nature, you're going to get rid of that anxiety. You're going to get rid of that trauma. You're going to get rid of self-doubt. All that stuff is going to, it's going to eventually just kind of dwindle away. Well, it's going to come up to the surface and you're going to have to address it. It's going to force you to heal and force you to address those things that are issues that you may not even know are issues, or that you know are issues but you just put on the back burner. It will force you to really take care of yourself and to love yourself more. I would say that. Yeah.
Yeah, just down, getting, you know what I'm saying? And when she say love yourself, it's like all that, like buying yourself something. That's love too, but we ain't talking about on that. It's just really taking the time, you know what I'm saying? Knowing your energy. You know what I'm saying? Knowing what kind of energy you should possess and the things that you should put into your body. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it creates it lets you know where you have boundaries and when you do not have boundaries, and the things that the negative things that you tell yourself, it wants you to really work those things out for you, for your highest good. So yeah,
things you put into your body is what you consume, and you know what I'm saying, type of foods, like you're gonna start to look around you at your environment, and just from a different point of view, out here in nature.
I love being out here, to be honest. But yeah, if you've got past trauma and even generational trauma, it's going to bring those things up for you so that you can learn to deal with them in a healthy way. And that's why I say it'll help you to love yourself more, because it's going to show you the people that deserve to be in your life and the people that don't deserve to be in your life. It's going to show you the people that you should speak to and the people that you should be like, I'm going to love you from a distance, that type of thing. Because it will bring up like people, places, and things that don't serve you. So with us, it was like, or with anyone really, it could be family members that just don't agree with the lifestyle change that you've made. Even though in your eyes you're doing it for the betterment of your family, they may be like, oh, well, you shouldn't be out there in the woods with them kids, or
you're a low life.
Those types of things. So it just shows you that those people that you thought was riding for you, they really ain't. So it basically takes the mask off of people, places, and things. I'm not just gonna limit it to people, because it's even places and things. Like I, for one, I don't like going into Walmart. Or even, I'm gonna say it like this, I used to really hate going into Walmart. I freaking hated it, with a passion. And what happened is I didn't realize that there were so many different types of energies inside of Walmart. But now that I'm able to like deal with myself and know how to manage manage that, it really doesn't affect me that much. So it just, it'll just bring those things to light, places that you just don't need to be, or how to not make things affect you if they would. You won't get as angry as you used to at just the minuscule or minor things. So, yeah.
For me, it's just peaceful. I just love it. Listen.
Yeah. Waking up in the morning and hearing the birds chirp on the outside of your tent or the outside of your window is like one of the most peaceful things that you can like ever experience. And even at nighttime, hearing the crickets or hearing the frogs, like that's harmony. Ouch, damn, yin yang. That's peaceful too. Like it really gets you in tune with your senses, like seeing all of the green, you know what I mean, and all of the beautiful colors, the yellows, and seeing all the butterflies and the dragonflies and the bees, and hearing all of those things. It's very, very peaceful and very calming and very tranquil. So I would say, like, the city life, you hear all of the chaos, and here in the country and in nature, it's just, you ain't got to deal with none of that. None of that shit. So, but anyway,
so be ready to heal and be ready to be all peaceful and nice.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
It may not seem that way in the beginning though, because you're healing. But once you become healed, or you like heal a little bit,
when we first came,
it gets better.
When we first came out here, like we started meeting homestead people and stuff, and like at first, they were so nice that, me personally, I don't know how she was, but bitch, I be standoffish. I be like, hold on, like, I don't want to borrow your chainsaw, and I don't want to, hell no, I don't want your trailer. Like, what you want for that? I used to be like, they probably want some firewood. You feel me? But once you start getting out here, you learn, like, man, you don't meet a lot of people, man. You don't see a lot of people. So when you be isolated and you see somebody else like homesteading or doing their little thing, you want to try to help out. You want to try to share things because, like, I think it's a thing of, like, money ain't important no more to homesteaders. And it's more about, like, how can I help you?
Yeah.
And how can you help me type of thing. And not that we looking for the help. It's more like you just genuinely want to help. Like, shit, you got a lot of eggs. You just want to give some away. Because another person, like, damn, y'all homestead too? Shit, I'll give you some eggs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Homesteaders versus, I would say, typical city life folk is completely different. Typical city life folk, they got an attitude, they got problems, you know what I'm saying? And they project their issues and their opinions on you. When homestead people, they just want to help. They're genuinely nice, and it's not that they're wanting something in return. They just want to help. So if your battery dead, they finna drive out. They finna go to Walmart for you and come back with some freaking jumper cables and give you a jump. And
shout out Benji and Candy.
Yeah, thank you very much. And leave with a trap cage to catch a raccoon that was eating their chickens. It's not that it's an equal exchange, but even if it's not something tangible, it's just the gratitude that you guys show each other. So when they say it's better to give than receive, it's actually true. It is better to give because you're projecting that goodness out there, and it always return to you. Sad economy. So yeah, that's the difference to me anyway between city life and country life. Country life is a lot more peaceful. It's a lot more friendly. It's a lot more giving. It's a lot more receiving. It's a lot more gratitude. It's a lot more appreciation for the things that you actually do have, rather than worrying about the materialistic types of things, or even worrying about money, because it's all energy, evil exchange. The next thing we want to talk about is getting your family on board with homesteading. I don't know if you want to start that off.
All right, so getting your family on board with homesteading, like, all right, so if y'all ain't never did nothing like out in the wild, or like fishing or hunting or anything like that, I suggest y'all start doing it. Like, start taking little trips and fishing as a family, and do a weekend of camping and see how everybody liking it. You know what I'm saying?
Even if it's in your backyard, just go out, buy some tents, and camp out in your backyard. Make a fire pit and make it as realistic as possible, and try to see if you can really thug it out back there. That's something I would say.
If y'all could rough it, the whole weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think for me, or for the women out there, I used to be a worrier, and that's why I said nature will heal you. I used to be a worrier, and the worry was, oh my gosh, like, this kid's gonna be okay, like, you know what I mean? But what I've experienced is normal stuff was happening. Like last year, Moon got stung by a bee, and he's 3, so that was when he's 2. And just like 2 weeks ago, Light, she got bit by ants for the first time, and she okay. So I mean, it's gonna happen. So those are minor things that they're gonna experience, but they don't even care anymore. They just carry on with their day. 3J and Savvy, they're 11 and 12, and to me, they're really like experiencing life. Like, it's typical to have, a cat and a dog in your home, but now being out here, it offers them to have goats, chickens, ducks, horses, cows, donkeys. Like, they really finna live it up out here, So
yeah, that too. Like, get your family on board. Like, y'all go visit a homestead. You know what I'm saying? Visit a farm, and actually get in, because it's one thing to say, "Ooh, I want," and then actually get that hands-on experience, and you like, oh man, it's shit everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll have this picture painted, and then it's like, when you actually get up on a 350-pound hog, that's a big ass pig. And then to have to deal with that, it's like, So that's how you get everybody on board and I don't want to make it seem like, oh, y'all ain't gonna be able to deal with it. I want y'all to be on board and go to the farm, and your kids gonna fall in love with it, like seeing it. You know what I'm saying? The rabbits and the chickens and shit, like raising them. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can go to Tractor and Supply, pick up some chickens, and take them home and raise them.
But even like I would say, like for parents, you gotta understand, wherever you direct your child to go, they're pretty much gonna go. So if you have the positive mindset of, we finna go get some chickens, it's finna be excellent, you know what I'm saying? Talk them up, and they'll basically follow your lead. You know what I mean? It's like steer the child in the direction you want them to go. It's like they'll do it. So if you want them to be some homesteading kids, start creating them to be homesteading kids, because we all want the best for our children. So if that's what you feel, if that's what you feel is best for them, then go ahead and introduce them to that lifestyle.
See, I laugh because unless you got a Savvy, and then Savvy gonna say something, I don't know about this.
I don't know about that. Yeah, she ain't gonna pick up no duck. She ain't gonna pick up no chicken. But she's like the best dog handler you will ever meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. She has her areas, and then the goats, she'll love the goats, dealing with the goats. So it's just, you got to find that area. 3J's really good with the ducks and the chickens. So that's his area. So just find out their strengths and keep pushing them to that. Yeah. So it's easy for that part, to get the kids on board. Just be like, oh, we moving, let's go. You know what I mean?
My wrist hurt like a motherfucker. All right. So and that goes, your family on board. Y'all do some stuff that's homesteading. And, it'll come.
Yeah, it'll come. So next thing is, what should your land have when you're buying land?
All right, so like when you start looking for land, like one thing big I'm gonna say is you don't want no easement. You don't want nobody either going through your land to get to their land, and you don't want to have to go through nobody's land to get to your land. It's kind of like you want your own. This is why you moved away from the city, is to have, you ain't got to worry about that.
When we first started looking, that was a thing where I was like, I don't want people knowing when I'm coming home or when I'm leaving to pass by somebody's house. So that was the thing for me anyway when it came to that. So easement was like I mean, for you, if you don't mind that, you know what I'm saying, to each his own. But for us, that easement wasn't working. We did not want that.
So as your land having what it is that you want, I can't tell you that. But I'm going to tell you that it should have a water source.
Yes.
It should have a water source on it. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a water source on your land, you set yourself up for
a bill.
Trying to have the water brought in, and you know, or you having to actually go and haul it from somewhere. Mm-hmm. You know, and that you know, you need a water source on your land.
Now, you do have some places where it'll be like a huge truck with a tank of water that will like come to you and deliver water to you. But like we said, that's another bill that we're trying to avoid when homestead or being off grid, you know, being self-sufficient. You don't want to have to shell out money to someone else. So having the water source on your land is really important. Like we have the 2 springs, one we've developed already. So that's a good, wonderful thing. We had to have that. We wasn't going to be moving out here. Zoning restrictions.
Alright, like zoning restrictions. We're gonna talk about that. Like what I said. Like, you know, that's up to you on your land on what you want. But it's like unrestricted. That's the best. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You ain't got no restrictions out there. We're actually in an unincorporated community. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, you know, the more, the better. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm going to say this, the more you got to do on your own, the better. Mm-hmm. You know, but that's all on you. That's all on you. Like, you know, if you want trees on your land, or if you want rocks, and if you want building permits or no building permits, you know, that's all on you. You know, that's kind of how you feel about that zoning restrictions.
Zoning restrictions, I personally like that because I gotta compare it again. Being in the city, like I remember, like at my mom's house, say if she had like she wanted to like dump a couch or whatever, and it was sitting outside, and somebody would come and put a notice on the door saying like the city would say like, oh, you have such and such days to get rid of it or we're gonna fine you. What the hell? Like, this is my house and you gotta tell me what I could do with. So I personally like the no restrictions. So can't nobody come here and tell me nothing about what I'm doing in my own space that I paid for. You know what I mean? Or even like at my grandma's house, you just don't want that. That's kind of like the HOA. Like you have to keep it up to a certain type. And that may not be you. You want to be expressive and have, you know, huge, beautiful statues outside. And just because your neighbor doesn't like it, they fine you for it. I don't think that that's, you know, right. So I'm with no restrictions.
But then also this, when I say with no restrictions and unincorporated community, that comes with a lot. You might have a noisy car garage right next to your property.
Oh yeah, and you can't say shit.
You might have a farm with 50 cows right behind you. You know what I'm saying? So that comes into like what you want too. If you don't mind hearing cows at night and stuff, or giving birth, or you don't want to hear, you know, whatever it might be that's next to you, or you might not hear nothing. But
and that's why it's important too. That brings us to the next thing. That's why it's important to go and see your land before you buy it. I know some people, and kudos to you guys, that will just buy land, you know, unseen, But for us, it was important for us to see our land and to see like our surrounding area, you know, the drive to and fro, how that was going to work for us. And this land actually called us. So yeah, you should see your land before you purchase it.
Hey, and like this, right? Say like this, even if you can't see the land, you can use Google Earth, where you can view the land to actually like see how it looks, what's around it, things like that.
See the shape of it, see if it's sloped, those types of things. The terrain, yeah, you can see the terrain on it. So, see it some kind of way. Some kind of way. Yeah.
Google Earth, you need to do something, you know. Cause I'm gonna be real. Like sometimes like we went and saw that one property, and remember when we went to look at it and we had to drive all the way up on all them hills and stuff.
We didn't even get to see it because it was just
scary.
Yeah, it was
scary,
like to go through it and to not know anybody there. It was just one of those situations where it'd be like, if something happened, we fucking stuck.
You had to drive real slow because the road was so narrow and it was like edges hanging off.
It wasn't a safe place. So I would definitely say to see it before, because the drive there tells you a lot, and then also you know, your neighbors or the surrounding area, and then the drive back. So I would say drive there in the daytime or leave in the nighttime so that you can exactly see what you're dealing with when it comes to living out in the environment that you're in, right? The next one is the power source.
Power source. When you're going off grid, make sure you got a power source. You're gonna need to have, you need to have phones. You need to have some phones. You need to have some flashlights. I recommend getting a generator.
Yep.
Off top.
Yep.
I recommend getting a generator. If you could do something better like a solar system or something like that, or whatever off the rip, the charging station or something, then yeah, but I recommend getting a generator as your power source.
Generator helps a lot when it comes to
off grid.
Generator comes to when working with power tools, when charging our phones and our laptops, with the light at nighttime. Sometimes when we're running late and it's like pitch black out here, we got one of them big old flood lights, and that's like a light that bitch up real good. So the generator is a very good alternative if you can't get solar, because I know solar can be a bit on the pricey end, and especially if you're going off grid at minimal cost, you know what I mean? Because you got some people that go off grid because that's just what they got to do, because their funds is a little bit, you know, depleted. And if that's the case, go ahead and get you one of them generators. It's going to last for a long time, because the solar panels are going to run you in the thousands to set up all that equipment and all that stuff. So I'd say that. But a generator is a good bet to go. You got a whole bunch of plugs. You get you some extension cords and boop, boop. Bam. All right. Growing your own food. Growing your own food. Grow your own food. That's self-explanatory. That's why we're going out here. That's why we're doing this. So that we can grow our own food, we can be healthy, we can be happy, and know exactly what's being done to our foods. No pesticides, no fertilizer, no none of that. No non-GMO, that type of thing. We aim to be homestead vegans, which means we only eat what comes from our land. So that's why we hope to have chickens, ducks, goats, rabbits, cow. We need no pig, no swine. But we will have, maybe we'll have pigs. I don't know, because that would be a source of income. But I
don't like pigs. Don't raise pigs. They're too much trouble.
They are. Especially when them big things get out. Listen. But
don't raise pigs, trust me. Don't do it.
But growing your own food. So, like for us, we want to grow in abundance. We're a family of 6. So not only do we want to grow enough food for us to eat on a daily. We want to grow enough for us to harvest or to reap. And then we also want to grow enough to feed our animals, because that cuts down on the feed bill of having to buy, you know, from our local pet stores and stuff like that. Or farm. What do you call those places? It's not a farm store. Feed store. Yeah. So, yeah. Next is, how isolated do you want to be when you homestead or when you go off grid?
Right. So I see a lot of people say things like, "Oh, well, I want to be 2 hours away from the city, a 2-hour drive." You don't want to be that far away from the city. You don't want to be that far away from the city.
Not you, them. Not you, them.
Yeah. Them, whoever they are.
Yeah, whoever they are. But you wouldn't say that.
You know who you are.
Yeah, you wouldn't say that because you know better, right?
Yeah.
But them.
You don't want to be that far off away, because if you got to think about things like, if something happens, if you get snowed in, if
your car battery died.
Yeah. If
you got a flat tire, you in a ditch.
Yeah. It's a bad storm, or you know, all that. You don't want to be that far away from this. Or maybe you do. Maybe you do. But make sure that you are ready for that. Don't look at that shit like, oh, I want to be off grid and I want to live 2 hours away, so I'm going to move 2 hours away off grid, but I'm really not prepared for this shit, and when my car breaks down, I'm not going to know what the hell to do. And yeah, nah, don't be like that. I made it sound like a woman, but that's actually some men, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, don't do it. It's not a good idea. You want to be at least like, you know what I'm saying, like 30, 45 minutes at most. So that way, if you do got to walk, the walk ain't that treacherous. It ain't that long. You want to have a way to get help, because if ain't nobody coming on your street. And you stuck like Chuck, I'm telling you, you do not want it to happen.
Hey, listen, man, I done been stuck in the snow. Well, we done been stuck in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
We done been stuck in the mud. We done battery died.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the other van broke down.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying? And you talking about having to walk from the city to here. That's a 3-hour walk. So imagine if you 2 hours away from the city driving.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be walking all day to get to and from your property. That ain't gonna happen.
It's not smart. It's just not smart. It's not. And although you may think like, oh my gosh, like I want to be away from people, when shit go down like that, you gonna wish you was around some people. So don't even do it. Don't set yourself up for failure when it comes to that. Be strategic and be smart, and just know that you do need to have like some type of way to
resources
communicate.
And stuff around you. You do need that.
You need that.
Like we out here, we listen, we off grid, but we do got a fire department.
Grid. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Not too far down. We do have a fire station, so just in case if we burning, well, that ain't gonna happen. But if it did, but it won't.
It won't. So we ain't
gonna talk about that. But we do have a fire station that is, you know, a couple of miles down the road. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and we do got some neighbors we can call on. We got some, you know, nice people we can call.
But being isolated, even some people like, all right, so on our street we got a couple of neighbors, but they far away, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, if we was screaming, nobody hears, we isolated, whatever. Mm-hmm. But you ain't got to be this isolated. You know what I'm saying? As you go farther towards the city, you got people who homestead, who actually own cows and got next door neighbors on both sides of them. So it's like, you ain't got to be that isolated. You ain't got to be where you don't see no neighbors every day. Because shit, we could be out here for a week and won't see nobody but a car pass by. You see what I'm saying? Yep. And you won't see nobody. But then you got people where you'll see people outside watering their grass. So it's like, it's up to you. You know what I'm saying?
And then being real, if
But-
you is doing it, your neighbors more than likely are fucking nice. Because when you're out here doing this, it's like you don't want no chaos, you don't want no animosity, you don't want none of that. It's like it's all help coming. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you really, I think people in the city, before they even get out here, they feel like they don't want to be around people because they're around people. But once you get out here and you see like the environment and the flow of things, it's like to have a neighbor, you know what I'm saying, that's cool. It's like, all right, yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's different.
But then to have a neighbor that's not cool,
yeah.
that's why the fuck you out here.
Why you gotta? You said.
All right, so that just brought me to think,
I
right?
knew you had a thought.
That brought me to think. If you got neighbors on both sides of you, you most likely not off grid. You're a homesteader, and that comes to being honest with yourself. If you ready to go off grid, or if you just want a homestead. You see what I'm saying? And that's what brought me to that, because see, being off grid means you're off grid. My neighbor is far down the street.
So then, if that's the case, so do we need to change our name to Off Grid with Jay and Toya?
Oh yeah, we do.
What?
Off
We
Grid
ain't finna
with
do that.
Jay and
It's
Toya.
Homesteading with Jay and
No,
Toya,
we
because
finna-
eventually, oh, that's still Off Grid,
We finna
even if you're solar, right?
off grid with Jay and Toya. Oh.
Let us know if you think that we should change the name to Off Grid with Jay and Toya. Then I guess.
Or
I
should
don't
we
know if
keep
I want
it?
to change the name. Off Grid with Jay and Toya. Off Grid with Jay and Toya.
Right.
I don't know.
What we got next?
What to expect?
What to expect?
Okay, so what to expect when going off grid? YouTube. Some of the people on YouTube is gonna show you like, boom, excavator, a whole big ass nice chicken coop. You know what I'm saying? A lush, beautiful garden, all nicely
yurt.
landscaped. Yep, a
That
yurt.
they never showed you putting up.
You know, they gonna show you all that.
Or you know, they gonna show you a whole team of people building an earth ship.
Oh wait, a wonderful, huge cistern where they catch rainwater and it goes through a nice gutter tube type of a thing. But if you want to know the real,
That's the real too. That's
yeah,
just
that's
the
the real.
pretty.
That's just the pretty. But we finna tell you the real that we got going on. So the land that we purchased was raw land. So we got some stumps. Okay, we got stumps. We got uneven stuff.
When you cutting them trees, make sure you don't get stumped.
Yep.
Because if you cutting them trees too low where you can't pull them stumps up, you got them sitting up too high where y'all tripping over them.
You buck your toe? Huh.
Listen.
Listen.
You know.
Yeah.
So you'll end up getting stumped.
Garden. We using the compost from the trees that's been laying down out here. We didn't have a truck come and dump a huge mound of fertilizer down. So, you know, our rows, they rose, but they ain't necessarily in a straight row. But that's good because we still finna harvest. We still finna reap what we sowed. And yeah, so.
You know, but it's like the land given to you. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like a plus of what you can expect. You know, when you buy raw land out here it's old trees that done fell, that been composting, and it's a bunch of leaf mulch and leaf compost everywhere. And you can gather that and use that. You know, you can use that right there as your garden stuff.
You just have to be creative, and know that it's perfect, even if it's imperfect.
Like when we first came out here, our first year out here, we set up and we the first thing we did was we had animals and the spring wasn't developed. So we was like hauling water and and that was bad. And we had to develop it first because it was on the ground. So we couldn't even get the water because it would have a bunch of clay and all that in it. So the first thing we did was set up rain catchment systems. And we did that in like a little simple system.
We purchased some garbage cans and some tarps and draped
put
them
a little
suckers
spigot
up.
on it, and we would turn it on and use that to wash our face and brush our teeth and stuff, right? But then, and that was good, and that lasted until we had a drought, and then the water ran out, and it hadn't rained. See right there. You feel me? And we didn't expect that. We didn't expect that. That was something that we got to face, and then we learned that how important water really was.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Even though we had a water source on the property, you know, we still struggled with that because we had to get it up and running.
So, like, go ahead.
Don't expect like, you know, this whole pretty picture that you will see. You know, you see these people off grid and they, you know, you see what they built over the years. You see their accomplishments. And that's what you out there to do.
Get there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta
it ain't go straight to the top. You know what I'm saying?
Because I can freaking guarantee you, like for us, like I said, we're from the city, so we've never done anything like this. Like we've fished, we've hunted, we've done those types of things, but to have like a large, big old, you know what I'm saying, structured out chicken coop that, you know, we measured twice the cut once and we bought the absolute correct things. That even happened. And it's okay if it doesn't happen that way because it's perfectly imperfect. So just go with the mindset of it's gonna get better. So if you create something and it functions, that's the absolute best thing that you can do because now it's only going up from there. It's only going up.
It's a learning experience. It's a you know, hey, listen, it's what you can make work out here. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of like homesteading and being off grid is trying to make do with what you got. You know what I'm saying? Getting back to the how the way.
Like she say in Players Club, you got to use what you got to get what you want. So you better use these logs around this homestead so that you can build it and then know like, okay, next time we build this, we got to change this, and that so that it could be this, and that. So it's just a stepping stone. It's going to get you to where you want to be. So it's wonderful that you watch those YouTubers that have the wonderful whole bunch of structures. They got it like, you know, set out. But just understand and know that it took a while for them to get to where they are. And that's how it's going to be for you too. And us as well. So just, you know, go in and just know and believe and trust that you could do it. Even if it don't look good the first time, the second, third, and fourth, it's going to get better as long as you put effort into it. You'll succeed. It's guaranteed. It's your birthright. You know? Right. I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, so I hope we answered all your questions. If we didn't, go ahead and leave them in the comments. We will be more than happy to do more videos on it. Because, you know what I'm saying? That's what we do. Yeah, shoot, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and hit that notification bell because we will be uploading on a regular because we got a whole bunch of shit to show y'all. And like we said, it's going to be perfectly imperfect, but I know y'all want to see it because that's why y'all watching us now, because y'all like us. We like y'all too. Keep watching, keep subscribing, keep commenting, and share. You know what I'm saying? I know. So yeah. Thank you for watching Homesteading with Jay and Toya. Oh, and please don't forget, should we change it to off-grid with Jay and Toya? Let us know in the comments. Thank you. Gratitude. Love you guys.